Welcome back, everybody, to the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. This is our last segment today. I'm very excited to talk about it. So we just got done talking about those that were invited to the gymnastics Olympic trials, and now we're going to talk about the PWHL and do a little mock draft. It's very fun. So the 2024 PWHL draft will be held on June 10th, while the inaugural PWHL awards will be held on June 11th. Both events will take place in downtown St. Paul. Teams can start to sign free agents on June 22nd for those who were not drafted or were not retained by their respective teams after the 2024 season. So in this segment, we're going to be doing a little mock draft, like I said. So let's just get right ahead to it because we have a lot to cover here with 24 people. So let me pull up some pictures. Okay, so of course we're starting with round one. I mean, that would make the most sense. Sarah Fillier for New York. A lot has been said about who New York might want, whether it's an American star like Hannah Bilka or a veteran like Amanda Kessel, but Sarah Fillier can help change the course of this franchise on the ice and in the locker room. She's also been playing less than an hour outside New York and in Princeton, so it makes sense for her to be drafted on the New York team. At Princeton University, Fillier really made a name for herself and really showed her hockey IQ. Next, for Ottawa, we have Danielle Serdachny, who played for Colgate University. Ottawa needs a top-line center who can push their depth down the middle into the third line, so there's something to play alongside Teresa Vanasova and provide another legitimate line. Ottawa also struggled in big moments, and at times they struggled offensively, so I think Serdachny would definitely help with this. For Minnesota, Hannah Bilka coming from Ohio State. Now, Minnesota could go with Cayla Barnes here, and they need another star defender, but it would be hard to pass on a top-line wing woman for Taylor Heiss. She's fast and dynamic, and watching Heiss and Bilka dash around the ice together for years to come would be very exciting. They would be an amazing duo to watch. For Boston, Claire Thompson. Boston wants a defender, and there's a reason to believe they are high on Thompson. She makes Boston faster, more offensively charged, and gives a running mate to Megan Keller. They need speed up and down the lineup, and Thompson can skate around everyone else, as we've seen. I can also see her as Ottawa's second pick. We'll see. She might not be able to stay on the board for that long enough for Boston to be able to pick her, though. It'll be interesting. We'll see. For Montreal, Cayla Barnes, for also coming from Ohio State. She could really go anywhere from second to fifth in this draft. Despite her physicality, her international success, her NCAA talent, and her all-around strong play, a few general managers can wonder how much size will come into play in the PWHL next season. She's a two-way blue liner capable of shutting down and battling against the best in the world, and she would be a steal for Montreal. For Toronto, Britta Curl from Wisconsin. It sounds like the league is pretty much decided on Curl. She's a magnet to the puck and fits Toronto's on-ice style perfectly. Now let's move on to round two. For New York, Amanda Kessel. She has had a bad concussion history, so that would probably be alarming to New York, yet she's a solid pick. New York needs more leadership, more scoring, and more star power, and Kessel would bring that. With Fillier in round one, putting Kessel on her wing gives you two dangerous lines in New York. It's a risky move. It's kind of like risk versus reward situation in a way, but the team needs a significant boost, and if Kessel can remain healthy, she could obviously help New York a lot. Daniela Pejsova for Ottawa. Now Ottawa needs a blue liner, and the idea of bringing her in, a young player to coach Carla McLeod trust and has built and rapport with, is very logical for the team. She's a good skater, physical, and defends well. It makes a lot of sense for them to pick her. Next, we have Maja Nylén Persson from Minnesota. This really depends on Minnesota's first round pick. If they go with Bilka, they'll likely take a defense here. If they go with Barnes, we could see them swoop in to save Abby Boreen here, although that would be a large reach given the talent available. Nylén Persson would be an immediate upgrade to Minnesota's right side, allowing them to flip Maggie Flaherty back to her natural left-right. Their defensive group actually performed well in the playoffs, so they could wait another round if they wanted to take an NCAA defender, but Nylén Persson won't last that long, I don't think, in the draft. For Boston, there's Noora Tulus. She's got dynamic speed, is tenacious in pursuit, and was the top scorer in Europe this year. This is a top-end player who will only get better surrounded by better players as the years goes on. Boston needs to find speed. If Bilka is available in round 1, it would be reason for them to abandon picking a defense. Otherwise, grabbing Tulus would give Boston's second line alongside Hilary Knight the speed that they need. For Montreal, Julia Gosling. She would likely get flipped to the left wing in Montreal, I think, and would immediately become a top-line player, probably. The size and speed of Marie-Philip Paulin, Lauren Stacey, and Julia Gosling would absolutely dominate the league with all of them together. For Toronto, and I am so sorry, I am not going to be able to say her name correctly at all, Ronja Savolainen. She can join Toronto's power play, add size, and would take much needed pressure off of Toronto's top pairing. If an injury emerged, she's capable of playing top pairing minutes as well. She's a very versatile player, and I think Toronto would build a lot more skill as a team if she is picked. Now let's move on to round 3. First for New York, Allyson Simpson from Colgate University. Simpson is a player who could easily end up in New York's top 4 immediately. As talented as her defenders are, they have gaps which often overlap, and Simpson would fill in some of those as a steady two-way defender who is one of only a handful of defenders who have upside to become a long-term top 4 blue liner with their team in this league. New York could also easily go all in on scoring depth here with the selection of Izzy Daniel, who can help their defensive woes from the front as a two-way contributor, or the speedy Anna Meixner. Next at 14 for Ottawa is Megan Carter from Northeastern University. Doubling down on defensive depth, if Ottawa took Megan Carter here, they'd have a fearsome blue line that few could question. Carter is tough, she's defensively reliable, and she has character. In short, she fitted on this team for sure. For Minnesota, we have Abby Boreen. She shouldn't need to be picked here, I guess, but to avoid losing her to another team in the next round or two is basically why she sort of needs to be picked here. Boreen adds another element to Minnesota they didn't have and would likely slot into their third line next season. But the good news for Minnesota is she's a known quantity who fits in the locker room and can contribute. For Boston, we got Izzy Daniel from Cornell. I just completely blanked out. I was focused on the fact that I just said Danielle instead of Daniel. Izzy Daniel. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Talking about Daniel, taking her is a priority in a way. She's a creative two-way player and adds speed and compete to Boston's forward group. She would become another intelligent player up front who can contribute. I think it would be very smart if they took her, for sure. Next from Montreal, we have Sarah, and I'm so sorry, this is a last name too that I definitely will not be able to pronounce, Hjalmarsson. If you shift her to the wing, she can use her size to insert herself into dirty areas, and she can certainly add secondary production. It's a bit of a reach, but the upside is undeniable. But yeah, it is a bit of a reach. I see that. The last draft pick in round 3 is for Toronto, and that would be Jennifer Gardiner. Sorry, guys. I'm so bad at pronouncing names. From Ohio State. With the loss of Brittany Howard, Toronto needs immediate help on their left wing, and asking for Gardiner to take the third line role, there is a position she can definitely thrive in, and it's necessary for Toronto. Moving on to round 4. First for New York, we have Elle Hartje from Yale. Adding intelligent two-way players who can score like her will help this franchise get on track and be more competitive night in and night out next year, for sure. Next for Ottawa, we have Klara Hymlarova. There's a logical third line left wing spot open in Ottawa behind Emily Clark and Dara Watts if they can re-sign her, and Hymlarova would provide the best of both worlds. Here's a player who can check and create offensively. If an injury occurs, she can shift in the middle, or she can even play defense. She's a very versatile player, and she's an intelligent player. Number 21 for Minnesota, Anna Meixner. Minnesota has no easy answer for what way to go on this pick, so after digging in early for Boreen, taking best available makes sense here. Anna Meixner is facts, experience, and can finish. If Minnesota didn't take Bilka in round 1 and instead opted for Barnes, this pick would make even more sense adding to their speed up front. Meixner would be an offensive upgrade for Minnesota's current right wing and plays a similar style to their group of forwards. We have 3 more to get through. For Boston, Sydney Barr from Colgate. She would be a smaller skilled puck puck player. Is that even a phrase that I just made up? I think that's a phrase I just made up. She would be a skilled player to pick over the Boston's blue line, and she plays beyond her size, inserting herself physically and using her skating and skills to take away time and space. She would be invaluable for Boston, I think. For Montreal, Noemi, and I'm really sorry, I'm so bad at pronouncing last names, and any name in general. Neubauerova. I'm really sorry, guys. Montreal didn't trust their depth in the playoffs, as we know, but she would be someone they can trust, I think. She's a physical forward who can check and rise to big games. She's really good under pressure. I think it'd be smart for them to take her. Lastly, for Toronto, Stephanie Markowski from Ohio State. I'm sorry, guys. It's been a long day. Ohio State. Odds are Toronto will want another blue liner here, and Markowski. Oh my gosh, did I say Markowitz? Markowski. Oh my gosh, Stephanie Markowski. Markowski? Oh my gosh, now I'm like losing my mind. Guys, I'm so tired. So sorry. Oh my gosh, wow. Guys, I'm losing my mind right now. I'm so sorry. Okay, I meant to say that I'm so sorry. I'm very tired, I guess. I'm not tired. I have a lot of energy, but at the same time, like, my brain is like, sometimes names get to me, okay? Markowski. That's, okay, there we go. Stephanie Markowski. Okay, she's a good fit here. If Toronto wants another blue liner, it would be interesting to see if they reach for Rylan McKinnon here or wait until later to take her. She can block shots. She's a good enough skater to get up the ice into a rush, and she competes hard. I think she'd be invaluable to the team. So that concludes our show for today. Thank you guys for being patient with me. I'm so sorry that I'm really bad at pronouncing names sometimes. I sincerely apologize. Thank you guys for tuning into the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to subscribe to the show and leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. Thank you guys once again, and have a wonderful day.
Let's go.